NHL regular season recap, night 112. Only 3 games tonight, but a good bit of news coming from these games. The first item, of course, being Mikhail Sergachev's injury. This game is a 3-1 victory for the Rangers, but that, of course, the biggest piece of news. Off of a 17-game absence from him, he comes right back off of the ice on another injury. This one, of course, looked pretty painful. Hopefully nothing too long-term for him, but definitely did not look all that pretty. As far as the game itself went, 2 goals from the Rangers in the second period, Vesey and Brodzinski. Brandon Hagel makes it a 1-goal game 5.5 minutes into the third, but no more goals until the last minute where Jimmy Vesey pots his second of the game on the empty net. Jonathan Quick, pretty good in this one as he's been in general lately. 18 of 19 for him, a .947 save percentage. Vasi just 21 of 23. A really low shooting game. Pretty rare that you see just the low 40s between both of these teams especially, but that was the case tonight. It's a solid win for the Rangers. They maintain their first spot in the Metro, 32-16-3, while the Lightning look to keep that playoff spot alive, 27-19-5 for them, a 3-1 win for the Blue Shirts. The Stars taking on the Leafs, and there were just a lot of power play goals in this game. 7 penalties between the two teams, plus a penalty shot, and between the two, 4 converted power plays, plus the penalty shot goal. Just kind of a chaos storm in this game, to be honest. Willie Nylander opens the scoring on the power play 6.5 minutes in, before Jamie Benn and Evgeny Dadonov both score Benn's first goal on the power play here. We move to the second, where we start things off 2-1 Dallas, but Tavares and Matthews both score also on the power play to make it a 3-2 game in favor of Toronto. Headed to the third, where Dadonov gets his penalty shot goal, ties us at 3, and less than a minute after that goal, it's suddenly a 2-goal lead for the Leafs. Mitch Marner with his 22nd and William Nylander with his 25th, both even strength goals, about damn time. Wyatt Johnston does score with about a minute and a half to go to make it interesting, but just not quite enough from Dallas, and the Leafs scrape away with this one as a 5-4 victory. Nylander and Tavares, the 2 biggest stars in the Leafs for this one. 2 goals and an assist for Willie. Johnny T with a goal and 2 assists of his own. Dadonov, of course, with a pretty good game for Dallas, scoring 2, but not quite enough. Of course, Scott Wedgwood in net for Dallas after the back-to-back with Buffalo. You're not going to put Jake Ondrin after facing 48 shots, but you kind of see the result of that tonight. He just has an .839 save percentage. Samsonov wasn't great. He has just an .871, but good enough in this one to get away with the win. So a pretty exciting game. Didn't get to watch any of it, unfortunately, but definitely a lot of efficiency on the power play for both of these teams. It's a 5-4 victory for Toronto. The third and final game of the night was the least exciting, kind of as anticipated, between Minnesota and Chicago. A once heated rivalry is now the 7th and 8th seed in the Central Division, respectively. 1 goal in each period. Lucchini with his first, Foligno with his 10th, and then Marcus Foligno, Nick Foligno with the first, Marcus Foligno with the second, with his 9th, makes it a 2-1 victory for the Wild. They're still again in 7th in the Central, 22-23-5, trying to get their way back into the playoff picture, but as I've mentioned a lot, they have a long way to go. Chicago, of course, nowhere near the playoff picture, 14-35-2. They will be sitting in 8th in the Central, very likely for the rest of the season. As far as the goaltending goes, another game where there weren't really a crazy number of shots. Philip Gustafsson goes 20 for 21, a .952 save percentage, a good game from him after the All-Star break. For Peter Mrazek, he was also pretty good, but it's hard to win when your team just scores once. He goes 23 for 25, a .920 save percentage in the losing effort. But all in all, that was it for NHL regular season recap, night 112. We have a relatively light Thursday with just 7 games, but I will be at the Canucks-Bruins game, so that should be a pretty good one. And then, of course, we have a handful of other pretty solid games tonight, too. So I will talk to you guys in a few hours.